All right, you say when. I'm ready. I have somebody here who has Tourette's and they just scream profanity. Is that okay? No, I'm kidding. I wish. I'm always like, can we hire someone that has some, like Tourette's or something? It'd be so great. We rolling?
Whenever, yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. So you've never had prosthetics, huh?
No.
All right. Well, we're doing really simple stuff today. Okay. So you're gonna be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna. What I'm gonna use the new special Silabond adhesive and thinner. And we're going to do just a small little foam rubber piece, and then we'll do a silicone piece, so I can show how the adhesive works for both.
Okay.
So I don't mix. I don't thin out the adhesive at all. I just take my brush and dip when I feel like it, because I find that the adhesive is thin enough to do the application. Like, to me, it doesn't. I don't want to thin it out anymore. I like the viscosity, and I feel it kicks perfectly fine. It flashes off fine. So.
Okay.
So first I just like to do a little wipe on the face. Just do like a, I won't get your beard.
So that's just a
like a stringent, yeah, it's just
okay.
a Kiehl's stringent I like to use.
So that way it kind of bonds really well?
It does, it works really, really well. And then I also, we'll do the silicone piece first. So sometimes when you have the silicone piece, and this is just encapsulated with Super Baldy, so it's alcohol solvent. I like to just clean the backside with the same stringent, just to get off any release or powder or anything like that might be on the piece, because sometimes that will affect it. So I'll usually just dip into the thinner, do that, and I'll put a little bit on the backside.
What's the reason for dipping the thinner before the adhesive?
Just so I have a little adhesive or a little thinner on the brush. I don't know, I just always do it. I don't even know if there's a reason. It seems to work for me. So then I'll just put a little spot there.
And that's just to put one spot to hold
the
center?
Yeah. Just tack that down. And I've already put adhesive on the piece.
Do you take it all the way to the edge?
So far I haven't. I will. I'll take it beyond the flashing, because that way I can just get in here and then stretch this out a little bit. So if that edge looks really nice and see-through, then I know it's where I like it. Just stretch that flashing. And sometimes I've seen makeup artists pull the flashing off. I don't prefer to do that.
What do you mean by pull the flashing
Like
off?
literally pull the flashing off a silicone piece and then blend it down, glue it down, and then really, I think that ends up happening, or when you do that, I think it ends up, you really need to go in there and blend that edge, because you've torn the edge.
So you're saying take the flashing off before
Right,
applying
I don't do that, but I've seen makeup artists do it, and I always find it very interesting. I'm never sure how they're able to get a nice edge after that without having to like do a lot of Bondo work.
Yeah.
But see, that's flashing off really well.
Yeah, I don't see you waiting much when
No,
you
I don't wait at all.
I'm
very impatient with my makeup.
So I guess you're applying pretty thin layers on it.
I am. And plus, I like I said, I did the backside of the piece.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I find it works really well. I mean, it's pretty stuck there. Yeah, I just go, you know what, I just go for it. Like some people, there's different ways of doing things. I mean, listen, there's 100 ways to make a hamburger, but at the end of the day, it's a hamburger. And when I have people working for me, or working with me rather, not for me, that's the same thing I say. They're like, well, how would you like me to do this, this, and this? I'm like, well, do it the way you feel most comfortable with. Because at the end of the day, I just need the makeup to look great.
And now you're just coming in with some alcohol?
Yeah, just some alcohol to burn that down edge.
I was gonna say I felt a little bit of a
Little sting.
Yeah, I could feel the vapor kind of going through my eyes.
What do you prefer to use the Silabond with, the silicone or foam, or do you use it
Both.
for both?
I use it for everything. Yeah, I pretty much use the Silabond exclusively for all application, be it silicone, be it foam. I've used it for just a lot of different things too, even laying fabric. Like if I have a skull cap and I need to just quickly put something in there, like a pad or whatever, I'll use the Silabond, and that works out really well. I'm not a big cabo guy at all. Try to stay away from it, so I'll then go over the edges with the adhesive, very thin, and then hit it with powder and just let it soak in. And it kind of helps lock it in. There'll be times where I'll go in and I'll stipple in another material just to help blend it. Just gonna do a quick foam one. I'll do it like right here as well. So this is foam rubber, and again, because there's always remover and powder and crud on it, and when I forget to do this, it has trouble sticking. So I just put a quick dip in there of the thinner and then the adhesive. Just put it just a little bit there. The thing too is I just go for it. That's kind of like how I was trained, opposed to, like I've seen people with little teeny brushes. I'm like, oh my God, just put the glue down,
And are you taking it just a little past the edge?
Yeah, I always take it past the edge. Powder.
So you put powder over the whole piece, and then you came back over with the glue. What was the reason for that?
I just wanted to get the edge down. There was an edge that I didn't like. So, yeah, just dust it off. Always put your lids back on.
And what's the reason for putting the lids back on?
So your material doesn't evaporate and you don't spill. So that's the big thing. All the above. I've worked with guys who leave their kit, that would burn through like a bottle of this stuff every time they apply. I'm like, what are you doing? How is that possible? Like, well, I walk in and the caps are lost, or I'm like, guys, this stuff doesn't grow on trees, for goodness sakes. So, okay, I'm gonna go ahead now and just do a little paint work.
Now these are alcohol-based pellets.
They are. Look, there they are.
So what would be your removal process for the foam piece and the silicone piece?
It would really, it's the same exact process, What I would do is I would take this magnificent vapor remover, dun, da, da, right here, isn't that gorgeous? And I would actually put it onto a powder puff, spray it onto a powder puff, and just start working the edges and then get it off, peel it off. Silicone, to me, always comes off way easier than foam. Foam always,
because it's...
Well, I think it's foam's porous. Silicone just kind of peels off. Once you get that edge, you're like, it comes right off.
All right, and some quick tips on how you did this. Beautiful
Quick
makeup
tips.
on me.
Yes, beautiful, that's right.
Yes, so for someone who's never used a silicone adhesive, what tips in using the product or application would you give them?
Well, I think if you're not that, well versed in using silicone, adhesives and so forth, you don't want to use a lot. Like sometimes people will just put a glob. That's never going to dry. You can do a layer. Then you'll see there's a little bit of a shine on the actor's face, and just get it down. If you need to add more, you can add more. But just be careful how much you put on, and be careful how much thinner you use. Because if it starts to get runny, then that's a fail. So, as you use it, you'll see what works best for you. But yeah, I like stuff that's not like a lot on the face. It works so well. It grabs onto foam and silicone equally. Foam is porous, so it really grabs onto that very well. And then silicone, it just grabs right onto whatever the encapsulator you're using, be it Baldies or Super Baldies or something else, latex, who knows what. But it seems to really grab nice. And again, the trick is not to put a lot on. You don't need to just glob it on so it looks like a big wet mess and then you hit it with a hairdryer, and that just doesn't serve you any purpose. You want to just use a little bit. A little bit goes a long way.
Cool.
And go to F45.
Awesome, thank you.